Councilman Addison. Well, good morning. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. By now, you all are very familiar with the challenges that have arisen in our efforts to get children served by George Wythe High School into a new George Wythe High School as soon as possible. This has been my goal for nearly the last 2 years. And had we stayed the course in the productive city RPS partnership that resulted in the construction of 3 new schools in 2020, we wouldn't be here today. We would be on site at Crutchfield Street to see the new foundation of a new school coming out of the ground. Unfortunately, our repeated offers to compromise have been rejected by a slim majority of the school board, which also went against the advice of its own superintendent and RPS administration in the process. And now, a majority of City Council has rightfully taken notice and expressed reluctance to release millions in hard-earned taxpayer dollars to a divided and dysfunctional body that seems determined to build a brand new school according to the specifications that would likely have it over capacity on the first day it opens. I too share their concerns. And I can't and I won't support the approach that ignores population trends and demographics. I won't support building a new school with temporary modular classrooms attached. But I also know that we all have an obligation to put our children first. This is not the job of any single elected official or elected body. We are one Richmond, and it is a job of all of us. And it is in that spirit that I, along with members of the City Council, will present one last offer at compromise that will allow us to move forward for our kids and their families sooner rather than later. Our community members have asked for us to work together to build approximately the appropriately sized school for our kids. And we've listened. That is why tonight at our City Council meeting, I will introduce an ordinance that calls for Council to release the $7.3 million in funding for design of a new George Wythe High School, one that will provide enough space to accommodate all of its students. So what does that look like? Well, put simply, it looks like the design of a school that will have the capacity to accommodate 1,800 students on the day it opens, not 1,600 students. And it calls for the design of a school that would have the ability to expand and grow in the future if the population trends we predict hold true. So simply put, this design would not be for a 1,600 student school, and it would not be for a 2,000 student school. It will be for a 1,800 student school that can be expanded. In transferring these funds, in accordance with this ordinance, it will now be up to the school board to deliver for our kids. Our children have waited long enough. Their parents have waited long enough. It's time to put down our swords, and it's time to elevate our kids above the fight. I know deep down we all want the best for our kids, but the time for disagreement is over. The time for politics is over. Each day of further delay is a disservice for our kids. This ordinance will be introduced tonight, and we expect a public hearing and vote to be held on April 25th.